And Logan City tonight they gave us this room. This is a pretty cool room. And Sarah got us all these fantastic treats with the... We are inviting you to read for the open mic. You see Britt back there? She is our coordinator for Helicon West, and she is all Helicon West, and she's got tickets. Go buy a bunch of, I bought a bunch of tickets, and I expect to win all the raffle stuff, unless somebody else buys a lot of tickets. So, we do invite you to read for the open mic. Go see Britt to sign up. The sign-up sheet is back there, and while you're there, check out the prizes for our Sweet 16 birthday bash. And also note that we are on Zoom and we are recording tonight's event. So be sure, if you do not want to be recorded doing your little open mic piece, then you tell us so that we can turn it off. Tell Camille. Yeah, she's sitting right here, and I don't know, can you do it, or tell
both
Sarah?
of us will both do it.
Okay.
This general area should be fine.
To come and say if you're too shy. And remember that, you know, what you have to say is pretty darn valuable, and I think the whole world should see it, so I hope nobody chickens out and doesn't want to be recorded. On a note, we need your support to help Helicon West thrive and keep our voices in Cache Valley thriving. So scan our QR code or donate to PayPal and SHR or Sugar House Review website. All that is back there. Britt can tell you how to do it. And also you may leave cash in the tip jar. Is that by the coffee? I meant to get some coffee. Okay, Britt's got it. It's over there by Britt. Put some money in the tip jar if you'd like. And now for our first treat of the evening, a Helicon West classic written by yours truly, that's me, and accompanied by my Mitch. And so I guess I ought to say one thing about this poem, and that is that it's old. It's a classic. It's a 2006 Helicon West classic. And right over here, when Logan had a bunch of bars in the 1970s, right over here was the Cactus Club, and it was in the basement. And they had Cactus Club dancers. Did the afternoon shift hit at Mitch? Cactus Club dancer, afternoon shift. Coyote Carol had nipples too big for the pasties, breasts on rolls, bright silver centers. Cece's G-string been known to slip, furred sleeves tucked thick with bills, lap dances forbidden when plain clothes cost with a weekly plus. Carol was buxom, a tall, dark beauty with just the right shimmy. Even women stuffed money under her glittering belt. Cece's tits were so firm and upright she could hold a cowboy hat while she danced, jiggling out front like a side-saddle filly. Could she ever skin that dance pole all the way up and down? Eyewitness account. When Coyote Carol got done dancing, it looked like the pole had a new coat of varnish. Hard to believe where she is these days, Relief Society president, 17th Ward, Latter-day Saint with a Helicon West celebrities here tonight, a whole panel of them. I want you first to welcome a pair. Isaac isn't here, but Aaron's going to take over for both of them. Isaac and Aaron Tim, who's been along with Helicon West for quite some time. Hey, Aaron, do you want the podium?
I think so.
Okay, you got it.
I'm just gonna walk up there and somebody tell me where to go, I guess.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Oh, you mean, do I need to go behind that, or?
I can get it out here for you.
I can go either way.
Yes.
Tell me where to stand, I'll stand there. I'm obedient like that.
Okay, is that good right there? Is that gonna show us?
Yep, we're good here.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Up you come.
Alrighty. Okay.
All right, Aaron Tim.
Does it not go in that thing?
It might, but you know, you're gonna have to be closer to it probably.
Okay, first of all, can I get some kind of okay in the room that you can hear me, like a woot or something? Okay, can somebody who's watching this Zoom screen, can I be heard on Zoom? Is there like a thumbs up, a heart, somebody tell me?
We have a virus on the.
Great.
Oh, we got a thumbs up.
Ooh, we got a thumbs up. Okay.
We don't know.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. So I just wanted to share just a couple of remarks, and then Isaac wanted me to read a poem for him, and then I'm gonna read some other things. So anyway, Isaac and I discovered Helicon West in 2009 when we started school at Utah State. Back then it was held at the True Aggie Cafe. I think Isaac and I just wanted to say that Helicon West, it isn't just about coming together and hearing cool stuff. I mean, you do, but it really can positively affect and really change people's lives. Isaac and I are friends, like literally friends, with the amazing Shannon Damme, who we first heard read from the Red Riding Hood paper. Like, she likes us. Amazing famous poet likes us. And we're like, what? We're like just desert people. Oh my God, Helicon is awesome. The first people who ever commented Isaac on his poetry were Chad Van Zanten and Tim Keller. And so honestly, those two guys, Isaac's poetry owes a lot to them. And of course, we're all here because of the goddess that is Star Colebrook. And even though he ceased being our sound man when we moved to the library, we all love Mitch, our sound man. I can't be the only one who misses the kick-ass music he would play as a prelude, and of course, him testing the microphone by saying 1, 2, 3 and testes, and it's just he'd go testes, 1, 2, 3, which is hilarious, and I miss that. That's okay. Isaac and I are the people we are because we have a family here at Helicon West, a family of friends and fellow writers and poets. We moved here in 2007 because with the promise of that whole LDS family, my dad and my stepmom were supposed to love us and welcome us and blah, 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 and they didn't. They turned out to be crap. So thank you guys for being better than them and for being our true family. We really are grateful, and I know Isaac feels the same. So Isaac has asked me to represent him by reading this poem, which I will do. Okay. It is called To the Anxiety-Ridden Self. When your muscles knot, tightening, shoulders cramping, your neck in an ogre's hand, throttling your breath, causing your hands to sweat and your fingers fidget, remember, it's just a crowd of people laughing, nothing more. Remember the raven launching from the wall, blue in the sun, flight feathers turned out to create lift, wings forward, a void, contracting, then exploding, air moving past your face, a touch. Remember, your muscle seizing is just a memory of flight. 2020 this year, wrote a response to it. I had wanted to since 2017, but I'm lazy. I suck, but that's okay. So I'm going to close with these, and again, just thank everybody for participating. Oh man, this is the first time I've peopled since February of 2020. So thank you for being Incidentally, that was also a Helicon West event, and Isaac wrote a poem called The Prosody of Buck, which was published in Sugar House Review, so yay! All right, this is called How to Love Your Wolfman. If you spot me slinking in your garden, do not shoot. If you catch me in the hen house, do not close me in. If you find me in your bed, love me, but leave me before moonlight touches us. If you hear me cry over the prairie, sing to me. If you find my tracks near the river, follow until I cross. Bathe under the field of stars, but don't look among the reeds. Do not walk under cottonwoods with a heart of flesh, for flesh is too tempting. Walk with a heart full of songs. Only music can remind me hunger isn't all I am. Never watch me at nightfall, after the golden hour, when sunlight and wheat become one, a single harvest. Shut our door, lock it firm, and do not turn. Remind yourself of Lot's wife or Eurydice, for if your soul is blown away, mine will follow. If you hear me howling in the night, light a candle, for I have lost my heart, but do not open a window. I am starving for light. And this is my response poem to that, so it's called The Hunger, and it's dedicated to the wolfman. I go walking in the gloaming, under stars I cannot see. I listen for the reeds' dry ripples sway, a path of sound to follow. I linger after nightfall, when the moon is heavy with light. I know about your hunger, the restless rumble deep inside. Do not fear it. It is part of you, a need you should not hide. Let it shine from your blue eyes, glow like moonlight on your skin. I would be consumed, cupped in your body. You would be whole. I could sing from inside the wet red, slow your breathing, calm your rushing heart. When you feed, you grant me substance. Inside you I am tangible, meaningful. I will linger in this cell of flesh. You will no longer wander alone. With my voice, you will sing. With your eyes, I will see the stars.
Oh, thank you, Erin. You know, Helicon West, when Susan Nikosh Peshti-Strobel was here, always had the biggest cheering club ever. I mean, she was our booth. She was the one who just gave us all sorts of, whew, we feel like we're here. We're here. Good. Everything's fantastic. Susan, say what you will. Give it to us, okay? She's been with us since the beginning when we were Writers Read Weekly. That's a long damn time.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Is it working? Is my microphone working?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you have to put that into the microphone.
I can't promise much because we're not at home anywhere. We're on the road. So, in any case, thank you, Star. Thank you for using the word always. It's like we compared notes. But first, I wanted to say hello to everyone. Right now, I'm seeing an empty space in front of me, but that's okay. I just know that there are loads of people there. So hi, everyone. I hope you guys are having fun. And I miss you. It's been a few years, and what I would like to What I will do is the much that is, because I can't keep so.
It's in the top right, see
We're
where
trying
it
to-
says view?
We're trying to show you us.
Yeah, and then go to speaker. There we go.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay.
We've muted ourselves.
I can follow us, Doc.
Who's got to unmute? Yeah.
Britt, I'm trying to change it back to back camera.
Change it back to the front camera
Yeah.
or the room?
The room camera.
Then you go down to the bottom left and above video, you hit the up
Do
arrow.
can you not hear me? No
Hang
sound?
on, Susan,
Yeah, that one.
hang on.
I am. All right. So, without further ado, because that's what I'm not to do, supposed to do, so I wrote a few lines, and I haven't done poetry much lately, so forgive me. So in any case, back to the word always, I decided to use adverbs of indefinite time to talk about my memories about Helicon West. So, first, like a baby that arrives too early, that first name I can't even recall. Then, ever growing, ever thriving, from a handful of on campus in yet another classroom, 6% stage, through Educafe, a standing room only at the library. Yay! Always. Oh, the company we kept. Sometimes noisy, the dulcet tones of the Coke machine, the comings and goings, fingers snapping. Frequently, scented, hot face, unidentifiable smell. Surprising, a fresh turn of phrase, a dog named many names, baby goat, the color of rain, fly fishing, canning chili peppers, always inspiring. I never knew what would get unearthed from me, my own buzzing memory, scribbling notes on backs of envelopes, receipts, a book I just bought, ouch. Constantly reassuring, supportive, welcoming, loving, praising, admiring. Seldom lacking in laughter and perhaps in tears. Occasionally irreverent, after all, sometimes what is the right word to use? Ever read in an empty house, always follow the star. Finally, not a chance, the word must go on. The word will go on. Happy birthday, Helicon West.
Okay, should we leave it in this view mode so that, what do you think? We're gonna switch it back?
Who's
Okay.
talking next?
Next, we have Chad Van Zanten. And Chad, wow, yeah, give a hand, this is all. Chad came to Helicon West, and I think it was my very first time at Citizens Stage.
Yeah, I wasn't here at the beginning, but, yeah, Citrus and Sage, if you know, you know. And, I, maybe unlike, some other people that were coming to Helicon West or have come since, my motivation, you know, people were coming because they loved poetry and they loved reading poetry and they wanted to hang out with the poetry crowd and hear a story and commune. And I think my motives were a little bit more mercenary or self-absorbed because it was just at the time when I was trying to get my shit together in terms of writing. I had more time in my life and I wanted to write. And it was just at that time when I confronted the question that we all confront, this question that looms over us in those sort of those early days, and maybe beyond. But it's the question of, is this working? Like, is this working out? Not even Am I good? Is it working? Do you understand it? Is there a point? Do you understand the point? And we go to classes and read books and have writing groups, and we can't get that question answered. It's just no, it's like taking your wife to dinner. Do you want to go here? I wouldn't mind going there. Yeah. Do you want? Yes or no? Do you want to go there? Well, it would be okay to go there. Well, yes, but do you want to? Is this really working? Well, you know, I mean, there's something there. Yes, but is it working? I mean, I liked it. Yes, but is it working? You know, we can't get that. And so I saw an announcement for Helicon West printed in ink on in a newspaper. We used to have these papers that figure out what's going on. I saw this announcement. It's like in the movies, I got like a big marker and I circled it and came and I started reading and I didn't get the question answered, not right away. It was kind and in fact the first person who ever said anything about my writing was Anne Shipper. I don't know her. I see her around and she waves at me, but she had a beret on and a cape and boots and stuff, and she came up and she said, "That was wonderful." She breathed on past it. And so that was the beginning of the rest of the answer, and I'm still trying to get that answer, but that's why I came, and that's why I kind of keep coming, and I've had you know, I've kind of had some success in writing. I wrote a couple books and everything, but it all started right here, and it kind of continues to kind of you know, fester here, I guess. But to have something like that, here's what's going on at Helicon West, in case you don't know. Yeah, you can come and hear a poem, you can come read a poem, but there's an alchemy that happens, which is when you come and you read something that you wrote in the privacy of your own basement, and you've read it to yourself 50 times, you've read it to people you know, and they're kind of like, oh, yeah, pretty good, yeah, whatever. And you come in, you read to whatever, from 7 to 70 people who don't give a shit about you. They don't know you, they don't care what you're doing, they don't know what you're doing in your basement. You start getting this biofeedback. You get a laugh. Is it a sincere laugh? Is it a courtesy laugh? You get silence. Is it riveted silence or is it bored silence? And you get people looking at you. Are they looking at you because they are enjoying it, or do they want you to stamp? You know, you get this feedback, and you begin. This is what happens. This is the alchemy. You begin to hear and process your own writing the way they hear it and the way they process it, and that helps you jump levels ahead. It helps you level up. So, and then one last point: to have the co-founder, I know you're the co-founder, but you're the one who stuck around and kept reading and came back and you know, adopted us all in and encouraged us and stuff, even if we didn't you know, necessarily deserve it. To have that person remain and kind of stay around, then that just makes it, because there are a lot of things. There's a lot of open mics. There's a couple in Ogden, there's some in Salt Lake, there's Provo and St. George, but this is the open mic. This is the one that I think that they all sort of incline to. So that's what I think of Helicon West. That's what it means to me. And yeah, happy birthday, Star and Helicon West.
Well, of my life. Thanks, Chad. And Susan, I really need you to send me that poem by email right this moment while you're watching Helicon West. Okay, because I need that in my archive. Oh my. Oh, Darren Edwards. So Darren Edwards started his own open mic readings and featured readers, and he did broadsides, and wow, I mean, he came to Helicon West and then he just branched out and did a whole bunch of things. So, Russ, does he have a video? Does he
Tell him to take it away.
Take it away, Darren.
I'm right here, you can hear me.
Woo!
Is audio good?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's so great that not only the Helicon has survived this long, but that we're getting this time to celebrate it. running open mics and doing those things is so often, and I know Star knows it is so often a thankless job. There's nights like tonight where it's wonderful and it's big and everybody's great, and then there's the times when we had to leave Citrus and Sage, or we had to leave a different venue and we wondered, is it going to stay alive, and we had to fight to keep it alive. And there's the times when you're very first starting it out and you've got, like Chad said, maybe it's 7, maybe it's 70. So I think it's great to be able to have a night to celebrate both the institution and the people that made it happen. I think Star touched on it, but I'm amazed more and more by the reach that Helicon has had, and also the longevity that it has had, to entirely thanks to Star Colebrook. As Star said, when I left Helicon West when I left Logan, and I came to help establish the creative writing program at Dixie State, Utah Tech now. And I, along with Chelsea Linderman, I started Storm Mike down in southern Utah, which was a weekly creative writing open mic, and it ran for 5 years, which seems really long to me until I see 20. But it ran for 5 years, and off of that, Marianne Hales Harding, who was one of our first readers, went to Provo and started her open mic there, which has now run for like 7 years. And she's had people leave from there and start open mics, and you can just see the effects of Helicon and how it has branched out in all these ways. And that's just on like the big level. When you zoom in and look at it on a smaller level, I can't even just think of just at my open mics how many people have found their voices, how many people have found healing, how many people have found a community. And that's times, hundreds when you look at where it came from at Helicon to where it went at the Speak for Yourself open mic in Provo. And that, again, it's all the child of Helicon. I think Helicon has helped us learn to be better writers. Chad spoke to that as well, the idea that there's a difference between hearing yourself read your writing and even reading it to a friend and reading it to an audience of at least partially strangers and seeing on their face, is it connecting, is it not connecting, what's working, what's not. It helped us learn to be better readers. Right? We all had those times at Helicon. Be honest with yourself. You had those nights when you came to share something and you sat there reading over it before you went up, and then you read it, and then you went down and kept reading over it because you were so nervous about how it went, you didn't hear anything. And if you're like me, you left those times so upset with yourself because you knew you missed magic. And so you learned to come and yeah, you got something to share, but that's not really why you're there. You're going to do that, but you're there to get to hear community. So it taught us to be better listeners, and it taught us to be better community members, and it taught us how to be artistic community members and how to build communities, and communities have been built from that. And I just cannot say enough about the institution that is Helicon West and the people behind it, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of it. Happy birthday, Helicon West.
Thank you, Darren. So tonight we have Millie Tillis here with us. And Millie's one of those poets of the modern day pioneer women and all kinds of other things. And Millie, just come on up and show us your
Okay, I'll hold the mic up a little bit closer for people on Zoom. I actually was so excited about tonight, I had to write down some notes. It's hard to, and so many people I think feel this way, it's hard to talk about how much Helicon has meant to us and influenced us. And for me, I was really lucky. I found Helicon really early on, my first semester at USU. In my second semester, we started the slam team, which included me and Brittany and Jeannie Wooler and Alyssa Quinn and a lot of other people I love. And that was really my first writing community ever, and are still some of my very best writing friends. And I'll be short, because and so many people have already talked about that community that Helicon brings and that community that Helicon fosters. But Helicon really gave me the confidence to call myself a writer, and provided me a space to try new things and to be heard. And always you can show up to Helicon and you'll be heard. And really, it's taught me to be a community member, and STARS taught me to be a community member. I'm so proud that it has survived COVID. And really has taken it on and given it this amazing thank you, everybody. Just thank you, thank you. Happy birthday, Helicon.
Carrie and Gretchen, did you make it?
Yeah, I saw directions up
Okay, so,
I unmuted her again.
oh, maybe they'll have a story for you, I don't know, but they're Helicon West regulars from way back, and now we live in Florida, and we're so lucky. But we're here, so we're even luckier. And we have you, so we're luckier. Take it away, girls.
All right. So, my name's Gretchen. Carrie, hi. So, I'm going to start with a short story of when I first experienced Helicon West. We're going to travel way back in time to May of 2007. Carrie and I have only been talking online, MySpace. And she kept telling me about this amazing poetry thing that she went to. You'll love it. You should go. You should come with me. So finally, by the end of the year, I agreed. And so she takes me to Helicon West. For the first time we ever met in person. And we go, and it was at the amphitheater. And there were like 5 people there. It was a summer. It was a summer. Karen didn't get it. And I thought to myself, this is the amazing poetry thing. However, I kept going. She kept taking me, and it is an amazing poetry thing. And clearly, it has remained an incredible experience. And we consistently went. I've never heard just amazing poetry, amazing writing. Incredible. It's been incredible.
And, you know, since then, we left Logan about 10 years ago. And since then, we've moved around quite a bit. We've been in Minnesota a couple times. We're in Oregon right now. We've been around, and every place we've been, we have not been able to find a similar venue. Not the same kind of community. One of the places we went just once, I'm not going to say where, it was very unfriendly. It was very unwelcoming. And I believe it was a fire trap as well. Something of a dangerous, and if I remember, there were dirty pots and pans on the floor for some reason. So, yeah, so, but yeah, we just haven't been able to find anything like this elsewhere, anything so supportive, open, familial, warm, welcoming. So we're very glad to have been a part of it. And yeah, we appreciate y'all letting us say our piece for a minute.
Thanks, Sarah. This has been an amazing experience.
Oh man, I don't know if I can even thank Carrie and Gretchen. My sweet Mitch, it's your turn again. We'll do a little kind of an intermission poem, and then we'll have a couple more open mic people come up, some of our celebrities, and then we'll continue on in the open mic. I do want us to take a short break though in between and go and buy raffle tickets and donate to Helicon and buy that painting and do other stuff. Okay, so this one is another old classic, and gosh, I think this was written in around 1998 or something, and it's about It's about this town in Idaho called Lad, and it's kind of illness, you know, have a malady. He wanted to, well, I'll read you the poem, okay? An old house, and two people, one. We saw the house for the first time 3 summers ago on a drive in Idaho. Interested in different things, we vacationed together on weekends, semester breaks, in between his drywall jobs and my term papers. We left the freeway at the Malad River Valley, took the old road along miles of abandoned dry farms. We dreamed of renovation, restoration, houses, lots of land. I want a quiet room near a college library. We came into Malad City by the back way, farmland ending at a few tall grain elevators, abandoned houses all over town. He took pictures of porches, railings, gable ornaments, patterns for the old-style new home he wants to build someday, and then we saw it. The house. It stood on a large corner lot in the center of town, set back from the street, concealed by trees. A forest of Chinese elm bordered the lot, enclosed the house. Box elders leaned on the roof. Lilacs canopied the sidewalk. Plum trees nestled next to the porch. Vines grew up the red brick wall. 3. He figures the house to be late 1800s, a 2-story hall and parlor, its upkeep neglected for decades. We followed the sidewalk, ducked into the forest with foliage dark with shade, walked up to the front door. It was wide open. Inside, we waded through piles of newspaper, magazines, cardboard, clothing, and bedding. Carpet corners showed underneath stacks of garbage. Sun-faded easy chairs molted, shedding their stuffing. Letters and documents drifted out of a roll-top desk. A legless double bed propped up on books and knowledge trailed yellowed sheets and dirty blankets on the floor, and a dead cat spilled maggots on the faded bedspread. 4. We picked our way over paper sacks full of socks and underwear, fallen plaster, boxes of rusted food cans. He said, "I'd give anything to have this house." We went upstairs, narrow banistered steps, hall, 3 bedrooms. I'll make the east room your office. Behind the walls of bookshelves, put your computer desk over there next to the window. The south room will be his workshop, the north one a bath with a walk-in closet. Back downstairs, he already imagines the kitchen he'll build, sees through the junk knee-deep on the floor, the wood stove layered in grease, plans the new cupboards, pantry, and breakfast nook, and east-facing bay window for our mornings together. 5. 3 years later, the house is ours. Trees lie in tangles, downed branches all over the yard where city fire crews promised to burn them for a drill. Faded cedar and asphalt shingles, waiting piles to be hauled to the landfill. Inside, lath and plaster fall on old sheets of wallpaper covering half-rotted carpets left to serve as drop cloths. Truckloads of household furnishings, ruined, have gone to the dump. The man who owned them, dead, 13 years. Lost his mind long before then. He lived alone, missing his dead wife, hiding in his house, reading his books and letters. He confined himself to their bedroom, covered the windows, lined the walls with blankets and cardboard and sacks of softly dyed. 6. This morning, we take 4x8 sheets of plywood off the truck and carry them to the empty front room. We'll start with the roof. Now he's ripped off the shingles and bolted the beams with hurricane tie. Last week, he hooked the rotted front porch to his truck, pulled it off the front of the house. He'll rebuild it, he says, along with the missing porch on the other side of the house, the one that left its ghost on the old red brick. And my eyes wander over the littered yard, and I think of how many years it will take him to finish this project. And I wonder about neighbors and whether my room will ever be finished, and how I always seem to live inside somebody else's dreams. Tonight we have Josh and Jess McDermott here. Well, Josh is here and Jess is on Zoom. And Josh and Jess were with us when Helicon West won the prestigious Robin Award. That was really, really cool. Come on up, Josh.
Thank you, Star. I'll just talk for a couple minutes and then I'll let Jessica say something. But it's been about 10 years since I was here in Logan, and I just had the chance to come back now working at USU, and it's really good to be back and to be here in person. And I've been in New Mexico and I've been in Pittsburgh since, and I just want to echo what other people have said, that I've never found a community, especially a writing community, like I found here in Logan and like I found here on Helicon West. It was so important to me and my friends at that time when I was an undergrad. And I used to be the camera guy. And Helicon West really inspired me and my friends to, we kind of went crazy. We started our own readings. We would, though those readings tended to have a lot more drugs and alcohol involved. We started having readings all the time. We were having it at houses, in the amphitheater, and parks. We started publishing our own work. We started publishing zines all the time. It was just a really great time, and I've never found another community like it, and it's all because Helicon West really inspired us. And like people have said, it really gave us a home to come to, and a place where we could feel welcome at a time when we were really young and confused. And I know Star has been so important in my life. At that time, I was really struggling, and I didn't have any money, and she gave me a job in the writing center, and coming to Helicon West gave me purpose in life. So it's really important to me, and I love all of you, and I really love Helicon West. So thank you.
Yes, darling. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks, Josh. Now I'm crying already. I think most people have said it all, but I think what makes Helicon such a special, uncensored open mic is really the people and the relationships that I was able to build. And I think we all know that wouldn't be possible without Star and Mitch, so I think they're the true celebrities and sweethearts of Helicon West, and for us to be grateful to them and everything they've done for me and the friendships I've made from Helicon West. When I first got on, I was like, okay, there's Shannon, there's Brock. I was pointing out people I could see and still remember their names, and those friendships just so mean the world to me. So along with everything it encouraged me to do as a writer and an artist, it really just helped make me feel part of something, and I'm just happy that those friendships continue to today. So thank you all, love you, Star, love you, Mitch.
so lucky because, you know, as somebody said, I think it was Darren, we would lose venues because that's the nature of cafes and pubs and so on. That they kind of fold eventually, even the Cactus Club, I mean. So when we were trying to find a place, a permanent home, Joseph Anderson and the Logan Library. Sarah and Diana, these two amazing daughters who came and started reading poetry for us, and yeah, Joseph, come on up here.
Thank you, Star.
Sorry, don't want to stand in the camera.
Yes, I was a librarian at the Logan Library at the time when Star walked up one day and said she was looking for a new venue for Helicon West, and I'd heard a little bit about it, but didn't know much about it. I'd never attended. So what I thought I would share with you tonight is a little behind the scenes. I brought the email that I sent to Star after our first interaction. This is May of 2012. Star, thanks for coming to the library today. It was nice to meet you. Thanks also for considering the library in your search for a venue. As I told you, I'm excited for the library's opportunity to host Helicon West. I think that your goal to provide a place for writers to showcase their original work on a regular basis coincides with our goal to be a community gathering place where people can find both knowledge and entertainment. I hope we will be able to make this partnership work and that it will continue long into the future. Let me know if I can be of any more assistance. And then I thought I would share with you my letter to Star when she let me know that things weren't looking so well in 2020. Wow, all I can say is wow. Of course, I'm hoping that at some point it's safe for public gatherings again and these programs can be resurrected. And if the university cannot sponsor them, hopefully the library or the community can. I will volunteer to help with Helicon West. I strongly support its purpose and values and have felt the power of free voices at its events. Thank you, Star, for all you've done to foster the literary arts in our valley and points further. I hope you and Mitch are well, and I wish you a happy future in your retirement. I'm so glad that we've been able to keep it going. I'm grateful that Britt is putting so much work into it. And I'm going to turn the mic over to my daughters really quick for them. They can share a moment what Helicon West means to them.
So, my name is Diana, and I also wrote notes because even though I've been a writer, I still get very nervous. So my introduction to Helicon was through my dad, obviously, and I was very young, 12 or 13, and I'll never forget him coming home to family dinner and just going off about this amazing program that was at the library now, and my family had always known that I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a writer since before I could talk. I was always writing stories and poetry, and so my dad offered that I could come. And I'm the oldest of 5 siblings, and I remember feeling very proud that I was the only one invited because it was for mature audiences. And, that made me very excited to go. So I came several times as a listener, and then when I was a freshman in high school, I was 14, the amazing Star asked some writers from Logan High School to share some work in the English department, and my dad recommended me, and I was able to come share some poetry in public for the very first time. And that was terrifying, and my poetry was not very good, and it was, I was just a scrawny, scared 14-year-old girl who had never read my work in public. And so that was the first time, and since then I've only read my writing in public one other time, and that is at the publishing party of the literary journal I was published in last year. So, and so between those two instances of me reading my work in public, I've seen amazing growth that I absolutely attribute to Helicon West. And I was able to be published in 2 literary journals at Snow College where I was attending. One for an essay piece and one for a poetry piece. And as I looked back, right before I was preparing to read at that publishing party, I was thinking about me reading as a 14-year-old and how scared I was, and I still had that anxiety, but it was my growth, not only as a writer, but as a human being, that I had gained the confidence from continuing to go to Helicon West, not only in my writing, but as myself, having a community, like everyone has said, and having these adults coming and telling me that my writing was good, and, you know, it really solidified that dream that I had since I was a really little girl. And just one other thing is that Helicon West was my first exposure to uncensored art. So it made a big impact on me, and I am not, like, I remember the first time I came and my dad said, this is going to be different for you. And I kind of sat and I was like blown away that people were laughing at such things. And it was different for me, and it was a different environment, but I obviously grew to love being uncensored and being able to speak your mind and talk about the deep and terrifying and dirty and scary. And because of that, that was my first piece that was published, was those scary and terrifying feelings, and I wrote about growing up in the school shootings era, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without learning to be uncensored. So thank you to Helicon West, and thank you to
I also wrote now. I had a lot to say. So, when thinking what to write about Helicon, there were only 2 things that came to my mind, which was 1, that I would not be who I am now without the experiences that I've had at Helicon in the last 5 years. And 2, that Star Colebrook is an angel on earth. Yes. I had the unique experience of spending a good portion of my formative years here at Helicon. I started coming and listening when I was 14 years old. I'm now 19, and that's 5 wonderful years that I've spent here. I hope it to be many more. Without my experiences here, I don't know who I would be today. So I was just recently accepted into the Usu Writing Program that many of you have gone through. Without knowing it, each and every one of you who's read at Helicon in the past 5 years has influenced both my writing and who I am as a human being. I read Diane's autobiography at age 15, and listening to Ron's passionate poetry every week has just been so incredibly influential to me. So thank you all for allowing me the honor of reading with you and taking part in this wonderful group that I hope to take part for years in the future. I would like to read 2 poems, one which was, I believe, the first that I read at Helicon. I think. And one that I read, or that I wrote this week. So the first is called Ranger Man Plus Poetry, which was about a nature walk that my dad and Star forced me into going to. It turned out to be a very influential memory. So let me pull that up really quick. Ranger Man. Okay. So they showed us the trees and they told us to write. Beauty and overly accurate descriptions expected. Write about trees, they said, but not about trees. Write about roots and families and graves and anything you can stretch to relate to a tree. But that's not my thing, so I'm going to write about something else. The people are staring at me. Glaring, almost. They don't want the teenager to be on her phone. Oh no, she should be listening. They don't know I'm writing poetry while they look for faults in the tulip tree. They nod their heads in agreement to the infections of the olive tree. I'm on the ground, so I look at their shoes. You can tell a lot about a person by the shoes they wear. So they learn about trees while I learn about them. I play Sherlock Holmes and try to guess their personalities by their appearances, not really listening to the ranger man tell us about the growing process of the ginkgo tree. He talks about his Smurf, and I absent-mindedly ignore him as I stare at the eyes of my favorite type of tree. I give him credit for trying, because while he doesn't have my attention, he appears to have everyone else's. Soon we gather around another tree. He calls it 7 feet, and I call it big. The sprinklers turn on, we laugh and move, and we watch the squirrels play in the trees. He makes a joke, and we laugh again. It was a good time. So I learned a lot today, and while I came here to learn about the trees, I learned a whole lot more about the people. And this poem I wrote this week about that same time period when I first started coming to Helicon, and the sort of innocence that I had during that time period, called Marina. When I was 13 years old, I sat in the wooden canoe and looked out across the marina. Dreary and sunburnt, I paddled around the shallow edges of the murky water, unaware of just how lucky I was to be fearless. We were bird watching, or we were supposed to be, surrounded by reeds and orange-green skies. I found myself in a reluctant paradise, just far enough away from home to feel free. When we reached the other side of the water, we climbed out of our canoes and onto the dock and jumped into the shallows, clothes and all. And the odd thing is, I can't remember being weighed down. I haven't been back there since I was 13 years old, and the world was a different place than it was back then. But every now and then I'll drive past the marina and remember a time when I was fearless.
Some of you may remember Felicia Rose. She's used to do Helicon all the time. She sent me to New York, and I was on the phone with her this afternoon and told her that I was going to have to get up here and talk about Helicon. And she said, well, have you written anything down? And I said, no, I can wing it. It's fine. She said, okay. Let me tell you something about Helicon West. It is inspirational. It's powerful. It's validating. But it has done nothing in 10 years to cure stage fright. The moment I got up here, I lost everything. I have not gotten up in front of this group of people without being so terrified. And that's never going to change. It's still a lot of fun. It's like a roller coaster ride. So as I'm up here, I just have so many memories. Aaron, I have never seen you read where you're irrepressible, where you didn't bring a smile to everybody's face in the room. It's awesome. Shannon, your stuff is so powerful. Brock, you just capture the audience every time you read. Chad, who made me come the first time, and let's see. It demonstrated to me, all of you, and in addition to Chad, that I've been working obsessively on a book for so long, I didn't realize you could actually write something else. You could write something different. You could write anything. And you could read it and people would appreciate it, or pretend to, which is almost as good. I've seen Chad read All the Western States. That's an awesome one. I think we all remember the piece about the girlfriend who has her boyfriend working on her body, so to speak. That was awesome. I've seen Chad read about Dr. Pepper and canine robot relations. It was awesome. Most of you remember that. Maybe he'll share it sometime in the future. Diane, I've seen her come up and do some of the most outrageous things. Russ, I know more about your mission experiences and it was just awesome. And all of it's so much different. Millie, you're fantastic. I'm going to forget about it. No, if I don't mention you in a specific memory, it's just because I really am winging it at this point. But the theme that Helicon means, Emily Wheeler, who's sitting in the back, got up here one night and read this
little story she'd written about sharing My Little Pony with her daughter. And the room was full of bronies. All of these guys are whooping and hollering, but she owned the room. Emily, that was awesome. I remember it's been like 3 or 4 years. Incredible. It's so much fun to get up here when you own the room, and it's even fun to get up here when you don't. And Star, I'm so glad you read Campus Blood today. I even told Felicia that. It's like, I hope Star reads Campus Blood. But the second poem you did with Mitch, that shit was amazing. Oh my God. Every time I come to Helicon, something like that happens. And in my own personal writing journey, I have published a lot of short stories, and better than half of them were written specifically for Helicon. It has really done good, well for me as a writer. So I'm starting to ramble now. I love all you guys, even the people I don't know. We'll get to know each other, don't worry. Happy birthday, Helicon.
Yeah. Open mic is really tonight, and you're all, we've got people signed up, but I have to take a break and drink some coffee, and so why don't all join me, and we'll mingle like for 5 minutes, and then we'll plant our seats and start some really grand open mic. Woo! So maybe we'll go right into Asher Blakely.
I have 3 poems to read tonight. The first one I was talking about with Jay, and it's older, I've read it here before, but it seems appropriate to read it anyways. And it's called Photograph High School Graduation. We smile, smashed together, eyes shaded under scarlet mortarboard, blurred bodies, crimson cloaked, the distinction separating us nearly non-existent. I stand between you, forever between you, a secret we never pulled into words, broken before we understood how it all clicked together. Our act rehearsed across hallways for months, flawless before the camera. A story about best friends forever, young lovers, high school sweethearts, happily ever after, the end. Of still life, brilliance on the cusp of becoming, captured out of sequence, failing to tell why our ever-fragile triad crumbled. Never hints of the shouted truths we told after. Scarred trenches cut so wide, there aren't pretty words enough to bridge us back together. Wow. And of course, the fun fact about that poem is the photograph is real. I remember taking it. I have never seen the photograph because the friend's mom who took it, he moved 3 days after graduation, and she wouldn't talk to me anymore. This one is new and still kind of raw, but that's what Helicon is for. So this is called Andy. You're the problem I can't quite solve, the loose tooth that hurts so good but isn't ready to come out, the security blanket clutched in white-knuckled grip, a piece of film I have written over again and again and again until all that remains are the half-formed ghosts of what used to be or never was. I know there is something on the other side of you, a place without your pain trapped inside me. But here I sit chasing echoes, unable to push you over the ledge so I can finally see to the other side. And then Beneath Old Eldine Bridge, which is a real bridge. It's in Ohio. It's a red wooden covered bridge. It used to be a driving bridge, but about 10 years ago, they converted it to a walking bridge to preserve the bridge because it's 100 years old. And it was supposed to be about the history of the bridge, and that's not what this poem is. So, Beneath Old Eldine Bridge. We wade hip deep in the sun-warm Miami River as it wanders sluggishly south towards the Ohio before flowing steady to Mississippi and the Gulf. Our bodies sift the currents, heavy in the late August heat, making way to the foundation where water burbles and curls against our chests. You press me back against the stacked rock balustrade, your lips sipping mine. Overhead, a car drives carefully across, white pine creaking beneath tires. The world is the narrow points of your body against mine, unseen in the cold shadows. We could take this so much farther than stolen kisses and chaste touch, but we don't. We stand alone, river slipping past, ever changing, while a 100-year-old bridge anchors us to time. We don't know yet that soon we will float away, take different paths, become new people. We don't know that this will be the last we touch, love and understanding silent between us. We don't know that we will not talk of this moment or any other. My fingers slide from yours and we are unbound, slogging back to the rocky shore, each alone, though your voice is steady in my ear.
There she is. Come on up, Britt.
I had to go to the bathroom and make sure there wasn't chocolate in my teeth. Hi, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Star and Mitch. Like especially Star and Mitch. I came to Helicon West for the first time 10 years ago, right? Yeah, I was a little high school baby, and Tyler Esplin came and visited Allison Feinauer's class where I was a student, and he talked me into going. And he read, and I went with my mom, and then Tyler Esplin read some poem about like the women he had wanted to have sex with, or had had sex with, I don't remember. But I remember him leaning over to me and my mom and saying, I had to take out one of the stanzas because that woman's here. I was like, wow. Anyway. And so I dug up my high school notebook and found the first poem. Yeah! The first poem that I read then. God, I don't know if I can do it seriously anymore, but the important thing is I read it, and then Star Colebrook came up to me afterwards and told me how much she liked it, right? Fork in the road, life changed, the end. It's about a tomato. It's called, it's called My Roma. It's a true story, guys. I was just so hormonal. Okay, My Roma. She was at the point in her life where she had to live passionately or die disgustingly. I caught her at her rustic prime, so full and robust in my hands, so ready for me to make something of her. With a plunge, I was in, and she was more beautiful than God. She was rich, and she was soft, and I peeled back her skin with my teeth. And it was in that moment that I knew I would spend the rest of my life looking, but when she was gone, I would never come this close to life again. If I ever loved, it was then, as she gave me every part of her in a burst, because I was her last affair. Everything I had ever looked for was here, and I cried her name at the top of my passion. And then she was gone. Nothing left but a tingle on my lips.
I'm still liking a lot. Next we have Jay Payne, and then we have Joshua McDermott, and then we have Diane Hardy, in that order. Come on up, Jay.
Is the mic working? Can y'all hear me? Alrighty, I got 3 poems tonight. The first one's just a fun one that I wrote. It's called Midnight Thunder. It's midnight when colossal gray clouds roll into the valley like a band full of rock stars. There will be a concert tonight, but not now. I have to wake up early tomorrow. Still, Midnight Thunder couldn't care less. They're here to play their show. Suddenly, it's like a flash photographer enters my room, someone attempting to capture the rock stars pouring onto the stage, their drummer beeline for the bass drum. Boom begins the beat of their opening number, Make Me Wet. Droplets pitter-patter the snare, and then wind plucks the trees like guitar strings. An unforgettable solo indeed. I stand up, open the curtains, and dance to the storm's rhythm. Sleep can wait. All summer, the Drought and Dust Project kept stealing MT's stage, so I stopped worrying and headbang to the thunder and rain. All right, the second one I have is kind of like a 3-part prose poem. It's based on a site visit to Jardine Juniper, but I also tried to make it a loose retelling of the Caparsis myth, where Caparsis accidentally shoots his best bro, the stag, and he dies. Then Caparsis is turned into the cypress tree. All right, so falling stars, city lights, Juniper. Falling stars. The woman longed to see a falling star. The woman longed even more to see a falling star that would grant her a wish. So every night she would sit on the steep slope, hoping one might fall like one of those bitter berries ripened between the flat needles of the young junipers surrounding her. Then it happened. The Milky Way's wound reopened, and hundreds of stars leaped into the sky like silvery blood droplets. Drenched in the starlight, the woman hurriedly wished to see the Milky Way heal, and the falling stars granted her wish. When the starlight lifted, her body stiffened into a thick trunk and her arms extended into long branches with whorls of flat needles spreading beneath the stars. For over a millennium, she would stand there watching the slow scabbing of the wound, the white light clotting around dark scar tissue. City lights. No one intends to harm the night sky, but so many contribute to its slow death by erecting street lamps on every corner and letting the taller buildings scatter light upward, infecting the wound. Though no longer visible, the Milky Way suffers, and the juniper mourns, sap beating on her bark like teardrops. Juniper. I hiked 5 miles to rest my hand on this old juniper who has stood here for over 1,500 years, the circumference of her white weathered trunk measuring just over 23 feet. Canyon winds have sanded her bark into a gray dust where only the soft edge of bark remains like an ancient thumbprint. I let my fingers catch in the split gaps of her wood before I take a step back to admire her corkscrew limb with a brittle branch pointing toward the sky like an arthritic finger. I can't tell what she's pointing at, but I examine the twig harboring her last whorl of green needles. She is almost dead. Lastly, I study the sign stressing her scientific classification, J. Scopalorum of the cypress family, and I want to ask her, what is it that I'm supposed to mourn? All right. One more little short one. There was a crow a couple months ago that had a broken wing and it kind of like died right outside my apartment. Oh. So, that crow poem. The crow with broken wing. I find it. Scabbed claws gripping graded stairs, glassy eyes staring into the night like there's a whole universe to be unveiled. Curious, I attempt to stroke its boomerang bent wing, its feathers rippling like a black fan, but it sidesteps to the left, flutters into the gutter. It will die there, I know, but who will notice? Its fractured wing identical to the starless sky.
Yeah.
I just want to mention how great it is that Britt is here to take over Helicon, and
Yeah.
how lucky we are to have someone so willing to devote themselves to it. And I love that Britt mentioned Tyler, because for those of you who don't know, Tyler was a Helicon regular, and he was one of my best friends, and we lost him almost exactly 3 years ago. So I'm going to read a poem dedicated to Tyler. And I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, and he had a plane ticket to come see me on December 7th, and he died just about a week before that. So this is about that, and he loved Helicon, and so this is for him. It's called Roberto Clemente Bridge, which is a bridge in downtown Pittsburgh where young men are known to commit suicide from at times. So this is called Roberto Clemente Bridge for Tyler Esplin. Man, I've been waiting for you since December 7th, and it's April now. Broke my head open, broken heart, some airport delay, where the hell have you been? The trees shed their blossoms like fur, like tears. I heard you hung yourself in your parents' basement. Your mother told me she found you there, but I'm not sure if I believe her. You stupid fucker. I dreamt you came to see me last night at something like my wedding in a church house like the one I grew up in. You can come next December if that's better for you. But for reals, you've really got to make it to the city. I've got paths along the river where the kids shoot heroin. I've got the young bartender who squeezes into her tight cotton pants. So much I've got to show you, so much to tell you. Unintelligible things that will be ineffable until we sit down and write it out. I've got ideas that I've been waiting up in the furry hills all winter. I've got a feeling that I just can't get out of my mouth. The summer will be nice here, man. I wish you could see it. Wish you could have seen it. I've been waiting on you since December. Would have bought you a whiskey with a pickleback, man. I could have taught you something about how to stay alive when you don't feel like it. How to fight for something when you've got no energy left. Your broken thrift store shoes, man, I can't stop forgetting it's not December. The trees cry down on me. The city is spinning down the flooded river confluence like a bathroom drain, where a young man about our age fell from the Roberto Clemente Bridge, maybe jumped, showed up 3 months later, 2 towns down, clean and peaceful from the ice water, as if he died just yesterday. Thank you. And one other thing I wanted to mention about Helicon is that it introduced me to Charles Potts, who has been one of my great mentors and friends, and he helped me publish this book of mine. So that was another great thing Helicon brought to us, and we should really try to get Charles Potts back here sometime.
Yeah.
This is a socialist poem. It's about Chicago, and it's called The Flooding of the Red City. It rained for 7 days. The Red City swallowed all it could before its stomach burst, fire hydrants exploding. City officials threw open the rain gutters, the drains, the emergency canals, and still we overflowed. Kitchen faucets poured like waterfalls. Showers ran for days. Bathtubs splashed onto tenement tiles. Ceilings bubbled, and plaster dissolved. Bodies piled up like log jams in alleyways. We shivered as we had never shivered before, and watched as processions of young dark-haired women approached new shorelines to cry tears and tears and tears and set emerald bottled messages to sea. The food was wet. The cats were wet. The washing machines were wet. The women were wet. Aquarium animals were lifted to freedom. Parks became swamps. Dogs ate fish. Fish ate dogs. Parents treaded water next to makeshift canoes, coffee tables, where their children sat, life jackets hugging their blue faces. Finally, Lake Michigan even filled the condos of the rich, the famous, the news anchors, the politicians. I saw one couple trying to escape their top-floor penthouse suite in a private helicopter. The storm opened its mouth and swallowed them like a housefly, as the rest of us hung out of windows, danced on rooftops watching. When finally the sun came out, when the waters flowed backwards, we survivors, soggy and wrinkled, climbed down from our trees and fire escapes. We lit bonfires of driftwood and car parts, sunned ourselves on roadways, claimed the abandoned condos and penthouse suites for our own, buried our bloated and unrecognizable dead, and chanted, "We have consecrated this city with our dead. We have consecrated this city, and now the city is ours."
About 8 years ago, I asked Star if I could sit in on one of her classes, and she said that would be fine. And I read that in the USU handbook that old people, when they got older, you could go and register for $25 for a class and sit in on it if you had the teacher's permission. And I think it was designed for me to just sit there and do nothing, but I couldn't do that, and she knew that, and she allowed me to be just one of the kids, and I had the best time, and I learned so much. So one of the things that I learned how much I really had never known how to write poetry, but I really enjoyed the genre. And so I learned that there was such a thing as cowboy poetry. I don't know much about it now, but I think I've got a little bit of a handle on it. Anyway, I wrote a cowboy poem, and I wanted to read it, and this is for her class that many years ago. This is called Cowboy Eclipse. The night, it falls out on the Great Plain, here on the Great Divide. Alone and lonely, me and Jack got no place to hide. Restless, 'neath the stars tonight, the vastness of the land. Another day along the trail, what journey lies at hand? I see her, rising fast, recall the talk in town. A backdoor peak, this heavenly trip, a massive show going down. Moon waits, hot mama, for her man, scatters a trail of bright red flow, coyly strumming his heartstrings with a tune that all guys know. He slides in, a thief of night, that shadow man of black, saddling up, foreplay erect, cutting her no slack, then nailing her, clear up there. Now rising, taking leave, her color fades. She's less bright now, and I wonder, does she grieve? I wake my horse. Did you see that, Jack? Tired eyes say he don't care. This yarn's one I won't forget, 'cause I seen it, I was there.
Fabulous Scott Spiller, artist and poet, yoga person. I'm a Helicon West movie. I think I might have been Helicon West in the first year once or twice, but pictures and stage. But I can confess that my first time ever doing a writing workshop at Star was when we were both in graduate school at Utah State, and she was doing a writing workshop. I take back the night. She changed my life, and I can thank Helen Cannon for pointing me in that direction, because some of you guys know that, bless her heart. Anyway, I've never read my poems out loud in public before. The poem is called January. Standing on the gravel, eyes lifted to the cold, dark sky, I see Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and the moon aligned like good friends with purpose. I stand there with my frayed confidence, weary and worn from too many days. Even the moon grows thinner each month until ultimately it disappears. A delicate smile lingering only as a memory. And then from the darkness it appears again, slim in bright above the morning horizon. Fold it in. Sometimes your need for quiet compels you to fold in your life, to lift the corners neatly and fold them inward with a gentle breeze, to tuck those corners into a small, tidy package that is manageable from all angles, a place where, through the open edges, you can see out into the larger world and know that for now, that is enough. I have two more. The one thing about wearing reading glasses is that you can't see the audience. And I want you to know that I turned 60 this year, so that's why I'm courageous. At the threshold. This morning I am tired. I'm tired of the effort to wake up with enthusiasm, to shore up the weight of that to-do list with productive energy, to complete a small task, to find satisfaction in the crossing off, and then to sit with coffee contented. This morning I am tired. I'm wearied by the effort to live with calmness, to answer never-ending emails with politeness, to sit in meetings maintaining interest, to nod in agreement at decisions, and then to return to my office informed. This morning, I'm tired. I'm spent by the effort to care with compassion, to hear the news of wildfires, tornadoes, floods with ease, to expand my heart wider, to hold thousands of deaths and lost children, and then to water the wilted flowers resigned. This morning, I am tired. I'm exhausted by the effort to open the door with anticipation, to appreciate another day of the world with gratitude, to observe the long shafts of sunlight, to delight in the first stirrings of birdsong, and then to lift up my weighted heart. This morning, I am too tired. I'm standing at the edge of despair with knowing it is necessary to surrender this body, this heart, without shame or doubt, to a refuge of silence and rest. To turn away from the moment, and then to tell the world, not just now, not quite yet. Okay, last one. It has come to this. It has come to this. I'm sitting in a double-wide rocker alone. Cars pass. Clouds gathering grow, their shadows shroud the mountain's shoulders. Aspens blaze golden in the cold turn of the season, as they have for centuries, when the day's light wanes and the nights wax long. Each one an exact descendant of those that came before. Roots, rhizomes, trunks, branches, leaves. Small shivering hearts lift on each breath of breeze. Long crinkled ribbons of light lay across the grass. The yard stretches to reach the circle of horizon. Minutes became moments that somehow grew into this day. Beyond this, the stars wait. I'm no longer sure what should come next, or how, or why. Does it really matter? Heart wounds, body scars, mended flesh, and tended love. I am here, and I am breathing. Small triumphs enough. Night birds sing, their wings caress the evening air. Out in the darkness, small points of light appear. I think Shannon had to leave. Okay. All right. So then we've got Audrey Lewis, Ronald Jensen,
And Teresa Dyer.
Hi, my name is Audrey Lewis, and this is my first time speaking at Helicon West. My first time here, I actually came here my freshman year of USU, and this was in 2018. And I remember it was just out of an assignment for my 2010 class, and I came, and it was like a lot of like stressful study nights beforehand, and I was just like in this really weird space, and I came here, and there was like maybe like 3 people there reading, and so like I felt like very much the odd one out. I didn't end up reading that night, but I remember just feeling like such peace and comfort and community. And for the last year and a half, I've lived out in Salt Lake City, helping out with some family stuff, and I was thinking about going to the U, but we're going back to USU. So I'm just very glad to be here tonight, and this is my first time reading any type of poetry in public, so. And the title of this is I Hate My Boobs. I hate my boobs, breasts, tits, titties, hooters, knockers, melons, bosom, chest. Call them what you will, I detest these flabby pieces of fat on my chest. My mother is always envious, a 33-year-old mother jealous of her 2 12 and 13-year-old daughters. How can you hate your boobs? I pull up my shirt conspicuously. My mother would frequently pull me aside at the pool, telling me to pull up my shirt, tuck in my breasts, and just put a shirt over that. Don't want to catch too much unwanted attention. Watching the eyes of men, my 14-year-old chest deflates, flushing as she loses her innocence. These apparently appealing packs of adipose hanging off my ribs were going to attract my future spouse. I don't see why. I could care less why. They get in the way, you see. All those boys will be flaunting to you in no time. Apparently my rite of passage as woman is destined to the subjective letters and numbers that reside along my now bleached and faded label, lining pressed against my ribs. What the fuck? So yes, I hate my boobs. I want them gone. I want to have the ability to run through a field without having to worry if my bra strap is tight enough, let alone having to wear a bra at all. Rig-a-wobble, rig-a-wobble. I want to lose my boobs. I would rather have the bare false stub of a chest rather than these pouches of loose skin, dangling as bait for horny teen boys. I want to have the ease to sit high and tall and mighty, but these boobs just weigh me down. Please rid me of these boobs.
Ronald left as well.
Oh, darn it. Okay, but we have Teresa.
Oh, I closed mine. Okay, I'm gonna read 2, and I'll try to be quick, because I think there's more folks. You know what, maybe I'll just read 1. That's better. But I closed it, so hang on. Oh. Okay, this felt appropriate for the night. This is called Poetry is Sex. It is steam from the foal's mouth in a snowed field, and mud flung from its hooves in spring. Poetry is fear. It is love, but also it is hate, and it is the way they all reflect you, like a trifold bathroom mirror. It is the bubble on the rim of a cooled mug of coffee, and the sound of fibers against your ear pressed flat to a bedroom pillow in its tired case. Poetry is a danced mind, a sport for the heart, racing to a climax that wins you and lasts for stanzas. Poetry fights like a raised fist and grows milk-strong like spiny dandelions in summer. It is the melting fat and a relished bite of prime rib and the earth that fed the cow. It is the crisp snap of the black widow's web and the glance you cannot meet. It is the taste of your own sweat and someone else's. It is the downstroke of a blink, the advice you did not heed. Poetry is the egoless high with a clear mind. It cannot be forced. No in the poem means no. It is the potholed road to a place no one can see until she gets there. But it is also the car and the road trip playlist. Poetry cannot protect you from the world, but it can arm you, embolden you to meet the world, to learn its name, to shake its hand with size 12 font.
Dang it, we've got to go, and we still have Tim and Chad and Millie. Will you three come in January and read?
Of course.
Okay. And will everyone, oh, and I think Nano is standing back there.
I gotta come up there for just a minute.
Come up here.
That's cool.
Nano, please come up. Oh, and Rick's on here again, too. So,
And then we'll do the raffle.
And then we'll do the raffle. Oh, I can stay.
Hey, you have to stay. Mitch, get your sweet ass. I would feel like a fool if I didn't acknowledge the other Helicon West committee helpers, Joseph, Camille, Jennifer, Russ. Yeah, I'm forgetting people. Public school guests.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Everyone.
Stuff like this happens, and we've heard it tonight. It should save people's lives. It does. It's real. So, Sugar House would thought it'd be kind of silly if we didn't explicitly do something to honor you and to honor you, Uncle Mitch. So we commissioned a really great artist and illustrator named Michael Player, who lives in Cedar City, to do a little portrait. His resume goes on for days. He was the creative director of Paul Frank, that monkey face. That was huge. But, sorry, Mitch, this is for you because we love you and you make our lives better.
Raffle us, baby.
I'm gonna raffle the heck out of us. Alrighty. Okay, so I hope everyone has their numbers out. I'm just gonna stand back here. It's gonna be so much easier for all of us. If I call your number and you don't know it's your number, you've got 30 seconds to figure out it's your number. Alright?
For 15.
Or 15, yeah, 15 seconds. I'm not good at number stuff. Okay, so first up, 'Tis the Season, a Writer's Cash compilation. The winner is ticket number 613043. 613043.
That's me.
I'll set it aside. Start
You need help managing your
brought the
tickets?
wallet tonight. She might
Keep an eye on some.
Alrighty. Next, we have The Unraveling, a collection of short horror stories. Also, a generous donation from the Writer's Cash to ticket number, I think they all start with 613, is that correct?
Yeah.
That's safe? Yeah. 077.
That's me.
All right, and then from the Writer's Cash, we also have Joyride, Tales of First Cars, Classic Cars, and Dream Cars. Zero 070.
Oh, that's Respect.
Is it Respect? Are you, well, like, all right. I didn't think Respect was here, but that's just kidding. Remember, I'm so mean. All right, we have Ordinary Trauma, a memoir donated from Jennifer Steiner, going to 080. 080. Okay. Make it up good. All right, 061.
Ooh, that's terrific.
All right, and our own Chad donated book, right? This is the brand new baby on fly fishing, the Bear River watershed.
It's a good one, that's a good book.
Going to lucky number 063.
Oh, is that fair? That's all for me.
Yeah! I actually had that conversation. I was like, is it childish to say you can only win one thing? I mean, I decided it was. No, you're fine. You're fine. Because he brought a second copy, which will go to 069.
Also respect. He's in this book.
It'll be extra special. Okay, we've got, I'll do this first. We've got 3 Inclusion Center, reusable, 4 Inclusion Center reusable cute ass tote bags going to numbers 050, 050. Too many of you don't have tickets, man. 003. Woo!
Oh, I'm 050.
All right, third one is 041.
That's also star.
Yay!
Do you want to give it to Teresa for all the shit
No.
she just
And the final one is 082. 082. Going once, going twice. 081.
Ooh.
Probably the same friend. And you know what? This one has Tim Keller's name directly on it. You guys we know you're here. All right, we've got an English department, USU English department grab bag. We've got 3 of them. They come with the water bottle, the thermos, the umbrella, and the journal. To lucky number 073.
Suspect.
Oh. Nice. You better be taking taxes from these.
I'll get your car.
All right. Second English department grab bag to number. I think it's Respect. Is Respect also 042?
No, he's 76 through.
Okay, 042.
Towards also star.
Woo!
Thank you, Nano.
Yes, sir.
All right, third final English department bag. What numbers was Respect?
68 through 70. Another one for him?
I'll draw him.
Yeah. He's fine.
He knows. He knows.
026.
There we go.
Probably star.
That's me.
You want me to redraw? You want to second that?
Or you can
That's
get
actually Beth and Kale.
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
I'll
Okay,
take
you
it to
deliver
them.
it to them?
Yeah,
You
I
know
will
them
take
well?
it to them.
Perfect.
They will be happy.
All right. And then from Dear Nano and Sugar House Review, we have this beautiful Carl Phillips broadside with info sheet that was not dropped in the snow. That's just natural aging.
Just bring it in.
I'm very grateful.
046.
Is that you? I hope so. That's near you.
It's
042.
me!
It's got the F word in it, but I know you don't mind.
With our final raffle prize, thank you to the Inclusion Center and Sarah Timmerman. They purchased a copy of a book from each of our featured readers this entire year.
claim it.
Okay.
030. Amazing. All right. That is it for our raffle. It looks like our winners for the bidding prize, Sarah Timmerman, the anniversary and certificate. Gavin Zan, straight up bought now the D&D starter kit. Asher Blakely won the Star Constellation. Millie is the proud owner of Poems to Solve. And Sarah Timmerman is now the owner of a Nathan Allen original.
Shut
All right, thank you all so much for coming. We have a 2022 schedule. It's this little quarter sheet up here. We will be in the Thatcher Young Mansion come spring. We've got a list of like 99% of our featured readers. Take some food, drop some change. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.